Hi, I'm Grace. I'm here to talk about the two podcasts from Lesson 3. So, both of these podcasts revolved around the impact of segregation and desegregation in schools and on students. Integrating public schools has proven to be this incredibly effective way to improve education, to close the achievement gap between minority students and white students. So the first podcast tells the story of a school district that gets desegregated against the majority of the parents' wills. The second podcast tells the story of integration as a plan that everybody is embracing, where people don't run away or threaten to move or resist it. They, seek it out and thinking that it will give them something valuable. The second podcast talks about, an entire city trying to integrate the schools. I thought it was really interesting how much integration can help students succeed. During the first podcast, I was appalled by how resistant the parents were to the integrating of students into their school district. They had labeled these kids from this other district as, by their scores and by their records, and they labeled them as rotten, and didn't even consider the effect that integrating them into a better school could have on their futures. So in that way, they were incredibly selfish. The second podcast gave me more hope for desegregation and for our country as a whole. I thought, Kiana was so inspiring and she was amazing, and I think that there are so many students like that, and they need to be given a chance. Obviously, these podcasts show that students who attend schools with nice facilities, technology, and the best teachers and programs and materials have the better scores and the better chances to go on to higher education. This should be an obvious reason that schools in areas of poverty are filled with minority students are not scoring as well. But some parents, as in the first podcast, chose to ignore this obvious reason and blame the difference in achievement on the kids' behavior. Once I begin teaching, I can really share what I've learned today by just spreading awareness and by supporting integrated schools, by teaching in integrated schools and helping, get the materials and the technologies and the good facilities that they deserve. I think this topic goes beyond the traditional aspect of education because, race and segregation are hard topics for us to discuss. They're uncomfortable. And because they're uncomfortable, they are not, as often talked about as, say, advances in educational technology or new ways to teach math. But I think it's something that we need to talk about more. It's something that we need to discuss from both sides, pros and cons, from different perspectives. Even having disagreements would be a good thing. We just need to talk about it.